So I will share my screen. So you should see now my Digitalisierungsoffensive start screen. We will start soon. Do you see that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, so let's give it a start. I have to think. Yeah, organization. Okay. So yeah, let's start with the webinar of today. Just a few points for the organization of the webinar. So the first thing is you can see the chat in the webinar tool. You can use the chat to answer questions, to send us questions you have about the presentation, etc. We will collect all your questions and answer them afterwards directly. Besides that, everybody will be muted and there will be no interaction between the participants. The reason is very simple. We are many people here in this webinar, and we don't want want to raise chaos, so we decided to do it that way. As I said, feel free, send us your questions. We will answer every question you send us, and yeah, we're happy to have you here. So today will be a very interesting webinar about how to start with digital preservation. Interesting question. It will be an inside view into an advanced, affordable, and easy to use digital preservation platform for institutions of all sizes, which is very interesting. And I would like to introduce Maria Fuertes, Head of Marketing from LIBNOVA, and Antonio Guillermo Martinez Largo, CEO of LIBNOVA. Hello.
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 Hi,
Welcome,
nice
everyone.
to have you here. Nice to have you here.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's the second webinar of our series. So the second webinar about long-term preservation with a special focus today. I'm very happy we have the time to discuss these points. And so what we're going to do today is first we're going to go through a few introduction slides from my part. And then I will switch to Antonio, who will introduce LIBNOVA into detail into you. And then, of course, we go into the LIBSAFE GO application. Like we said, let's see it work. So yeah, see it work, see how it works, and get an inside view about the application itself, not only on PowerPoint. And to the end, we want to give you a short summary. And of course, we collected some questions before the webinars I want to ask Antonio. So I hope we will have enough time for this. So let's go into it. So what is the Digitalisierungsoffensive? That's a very new, let's say, webinar event series that we started last year because of the current situation. We were not able to hold our typical at-site on-premise webinars and workshops we do usually. So we decided to do it 100% virtual in the internet via webinars. And so last year we had, I think, 10 or 12 different webinars with more than 1,300, I guess, registrations for it. So we can say the Digitalisierungsoffensive is the webinar event for libraries, archives, and museums, definitely. We give you inside information about projects, customer projects. From their point of view, we will show you projects about digitization workflow and presentation. It will be about web and social media archiving, as well as digitization equipment, so archive scanners, museum scanners, or even book scanners. And like I said, this year we will have the second edition. So last year we had 1,300 registrations. Wow, difficult. And of course, we want to reach more this year. And today's presentation is about long-term preservation. It was the number one topic that was requested last year. So many people said, we want to hear something about long-term preservation. So we decided to have two presentations. And yeah, so we're very happy to get your feedback afterwards. You will find all webinars, all registration options, etc., on this website. You can, even if you want to watch this webinar once again, feel free to do it. It's all free. Doesn't cost you anything except of 1 hour of your time, maybe. So who is Walter Nagel? Walter Nagel, we support cultural heritage institutions and of course companies like service bureaus in building up a complete digital workflow. That means that we're not only offering like scanning solutions, but we also have the complete workflow in mind. Like, what is the workflow after that? You need quality assurance. You need enhancement of images with OCR, for example. You want to present it in the internet. And of course, you want to feed a long-term preservation system with it to keep all your data safe. So what we do is we have an eye on automation, productivity, and always combined with high quality. So we will not offer anything at an exceptional cheap price, but that doesn't offer a very good quality. So we're always looking on high productivity and high automation, everything we do, but always paired with the high quality. What is maybe interesting that we don't build book scanners. We don't program long-term preservation software. So we work together with partners worldwide that are experts in their field, so that we have the chance to benefit from these experts in our projects. And of course, our customers do benefit as well. I think this is very important also today, as LIBNOVA, as you will see when Antonio introduces the company, is a specialist on the field of long-term preservation, and this is their only focus 24/7. So when we bring LIBNOVA to our customers' table, we know that we're talking to specialists that's 100% committed to this topic, and this brings, of course, a big knowledge to this project that we are working on. But this means also that we are independent from certain manufacturers. Of course, we have different kind of partners, but we also look, what kind of products are maybe not, let's say, not ahead of the time anymore, or maybe let's say a little bit old-fashioned, etc. So sometimes we switch the portfolio a little bit to always keep on track with the technical developments. We do that now for more than 35 years. And as you can see on our website, the link you can find on top of the slide, that we are working together with the big state archives, regional archives, or national archives, also state libraries, national libraries, etc., with different kind of museums, with just different kind of special collections they have, also with in consortium projects like nationwide digitization projects in Switzerland, or library associations in Germany or Austria, but also with private foundations or very small city archives that are using our services or our solutions to evolve in the field of digitization and digital presentation. So this should be it from my part. So at this slide, Antonio, I would like to ask you to take over and share your screen, please. It's your turn.
I will. It's fine. Thank you, Jens. And thank you, everyone. It's really interesting that this kind of webinar creates such as interest. So we are glad to have you here. And we are glad also to see that this is a very interesting topic. I would like to first give you a very brief introduction to the company, to LIBNOVA, and then to go, as Jens said, to go straight to the software for you to see it working, because I think it's the best way for you to understand how you can approach to digital preservation, and also to show you how powerful and easy to use the LIBSAFE GO software is. So about us, we are present in 14 countries. Here you have some of the customers we are working with. We are working with some of the largest organizations worldwide, providing their preservation systems, and also some of the smallest organizations. We are working, for instance, with the British Library. We are working with the National Library of Austria, National Library Association. For those two projects, we are working with in partnership with Walter Nagel. But we are working also with many national libraries, national archives, universities. Here we have Stanford, the EPFL in Lausanne, University of Oxford, and many universities across the world, and museums, state archives, and so on. Our positioning in the market is to be the first by innovation. So to bring the most advanced products to the market. And to do that, we are very active on research, and we also partner a lot to do these projects. For instance, we are members of the Digital Preservation Coalition. We are one of the few private companies that have been accepted as an NDSA member, and this is really important for today's presentation. But we are researching with leading organizations across Europe. Here we have another important company that we're working with. This is Jarrieta Associates, with the way we have to work with David Jarrieta. David Jarrieta was the one that basically contributed most to the OIS and ISO 16363 standards, which are the base of the digital preservation practice. And we have been working with David for many years, and he has been able to influence our products a lot to make them fully aligned with those standards and other also relevant standards. So about our company, as I said, our promise to you, or promise to the market, is to deliver the most advanced digital preservation platform to this community. And to do that, we have 3 different product lines. We have the LIBSAFE GO, one-step digital preservation. We're going to be looking to this platform today. We have LIBSAFE Advanced that brings additional automation, so includes everything we have in Go, plus additional automation and connecting to other the capability to connect to other platforms and automate and interact with them a lot. And then we have LIBNOVA Live Drive, which is focused on research, data management, preservation. So every platform is sharing the same preservation engine, is fully aligned to the OIS, the ISO 14721. They are also aligned with to the fair and trust principles and fully compliant with ISO 16363. It is possible to get any of them in the cloud or on-prem, so you could have them as a service running in the country you are in. So in Germany, Austria, Switzerland, for instance, we have data centers there. We can deploy in your own country, but also on-prem. If you want to deploy it over your own servers, you can also do it on your own infrastructure and so on. You can also do it. And switching from one mode to the other is allowed. So you can start working on-prem and 2 years later decide that you want to go cloud, or the opposite. You could start working in the cloud and then switch to an on-prem environment. And you can also switch from one license mode to the other, which is a thing that many customers are doing. So they start working with Go, and then they switch to Advanced when their needs grow, or when their collection grows, or when they need more automation or whatever, which is a very easy way to transition from one product to another. Today, I would like to bring a very important topic, which is the NDSA levels of preservation. The NDSA, so we are, as I said, we are a member of the NDSA, and the NDSA is a global consortium of more than 260 organizations, so the members are universities, government, non-profit organizations, companies, and so on. And basically, this association is committed to long-term preservation. They created long ago the levels of digital preservation matrix, and they have updated it recently. And this is one of the most important benchmarking tool that we have to achieve to measure how preservation is applied. So this is here we have the metrics. You can search for it in Google using NDSA and levels of digital preservation. But basically you have 5 functional areas: storage, integrity, control, metadata, and content. So you have them here. And you have 4 levels. So the level 1 is know your content. The level 2, this column, is protect. The next one is monitor your content, and the one is about sustain your content. So This way, you have a way to evaluate in which level you are. To match a level, you need to comply to all of them. So we're going to see today the software, and then we're going to come back to this table with detail, and we're going to be able to see how we can create a level 4, so the maximum level in all functional areas using LIBSAFE GO. So how we can get the maximum level established by the NDSA when doing digital preservation. So let's see it working. Remember that if you have any question, you can make it now. We will answer it. Later, but you can use the chat. So this is LIBSAFE GO. So every interaction you are going to have with the system is going to base on using the browser. So there is nothing to install on your computer. You can open your browser, point it to the LIBSAFE GO platform, and you are ready to go. Everything here in this platform has been organized around the concept of data containers. You can think about those data containers as boxes or buckets in which you can place similar content together. You can create this kind of nested organizations. This is up to you on how to organize your archives. This is very flexible, so you can create categories and so on, and you can place your containers inside. We have organizations that are using only one node because they have everything in a single node and everything in a single container because they want to have everything in the same place, while we have others that are organizing this by collections or by the content type. They have their newspapers here and their audio recording there and so on. So this is completely up to you on how to organize it. The same way you have it organized today, or you would like to organize it, you can do it with the containers. And there is one relevant thing related to the containers, to the containers structure, to the archival tree, is that you can define user permissions for each of the nodes of this tree. So you could, for instance, in this example, you could, for instance, make Alice capable of accessing anything that is in humanities, while she would be able to see nothing else, right? So she's going to be able to see only the containers you have here and not the ones that you may have in medical sciences, for instance. While Bob, for instance, could be medical sciences only, and David, for instance, could be or Charlie, better, the C in Charlie, so could be able to see both of them, right? So humanities and medical sciences. And you can also restrict how users are going to interact with it. So in read-only mode, changing metadata, being able to search or not, and so on. So you can define these permissions, which is really good. When I click in a node, you see the containers that I have in this node. I can search on them, on the names here to quickly find the ones that I'm looking for, or I can search here for searching on everything that is inside the containers. We will see that later. If I want to open one of them, I can click here, and the system is going to open this container. To navigate in this container, you have these tabs. In the first one, we are in the details. The system is going to tell us about the size we have in this container, and also is going to give us some insights about the content we have in. So you need to do nothing for this to happen. So just by placing the content in the platform, the system is going to analyze it for malware, and this will go red if the system is finding malware. This is for corrupted files, and now the system is detecting 11 corrupted files inside this container. This is for duplicates, right? So you can also tell the system to warn you if it's finding duplicates. And in the next section, you have some metadata. I have only 2 fields, process by and nodes here. but it's up to you on how to define these fields. So you could have collection name, owner, embargo date, or published yes or no, or whatever, right? It's up to you on how to create this metadata schema to be able to search over your containers. This is the metadata container, which is not to be confused with the object that you may have inside metadata that we are going to see now. If I click to the Explore in the Explore content, the system is going to open the browser for the content you have, and you see that this looks similar to a Windows or Macintosh folder. It is, of course, not a Windows folder, but it is. We have been working a lot to make it look similar, and you can do exactly the same you can do in a Windows folder if you have the right permissions, of course. So you could open folders, you could right click and create new folders, you can select multiple items, you can drag and drop, you can copy and paste, and so on, right? So it's very easy for you to create any kind of a structure you would like to have inside this container, right? So uploading content. For instance, I'm going to create a new folder. I'm going to name it 999, for instance. I'm going to open the folder, right? And here in my computer, I have a few files in a folder. I'm going to select them all, and I'm going to just drag and drop them to the platform. And that's it. The system is going to upload them and is going to protect them and so on. But in detail, what is the system going to do with any content you upload to it? Well, several really important things. The first one is about the storage. So it's going to create several copies of your information. So we are keeping here 2, which at the same. So each of these copies is in 3 different data centers. So in total, you have your data across 6 different places. And also, it is going to define the date in which the system is going to verify for this information to be there and to be fine. So for you to not to have any corruption by its own, right? So without you to need to do nothing, the system is going to create multiple copies and verify them periodically. The system is also creating the fixed information. It's creating the hashes. You may not have those hashes for the content you are uploading, but the system is creating them. You may be wondering what the hashes are. So what is this? Well, the hashes, this is a technology that is used to detect when a file has changed. So this would be like the fingerprint of a digital file. So this particular JPEG 2000 image is going to have this signature. If I change a single pixel for this image, this signature or this one are going to change, completely change. So this way, if your image corrupts, you can know it and you can detect it and you can correct it and so on. So this is really important and the core of the preservation practice. You have also the system is also going to characterize your content. This is very important because to be able to deal with the obsolescence of the formats, for the format you open it, you may not be able to open it tomorrow. The first thing you need to do is to know what are the formats you have in your repository. And to do that, it is not as simple as telling us, yeah, I have a JPEG 2000. It may be different. It may exist different JPEG 2000 formats. Very something that happens a lot is, for instance, related to the PDFs. Telling someone that they have a PDF is not enough because, yeah, you have the version, you have the compression, and so on. So it's very important that we create or we calculate the pronom ID. The pronom ID is the UK National Archives identification for this format, which is the same format everyone is using in this industry. This is the standard. So the system is doing all these things without you to need to do nothing else. But in addition, what the system is doing when you are uploading your content, Well, several interesting things. The first one is extracting the technical information that is in the file. So, for instance, if you select this PNG file, yeah, the system is showing you the technical metadata on the file. If you select this Microsoft Word file, the system is going to tell you the original creation date and time, the number of pages, the author, and so on. So every single detail the system knows. If you select an email message, for instance, the system is going to tell you the to, the from, the date, and so on. So everything related to your to the format you are selecting. The system is also going to look at the text that you have in the documents you upload, in the files you upload, and is going to index them and make them searchable. So you can, for instance, add your own metadata here. We will see with more detail now. And everything that the system is extracting by itself, plus all the text that you have here, is searchable in the platform. You can go to here to content search, and you can search David, for instance, and the system is going to give you really fast. You can see it's 76 milliseconds, so it's almost instantaneous. It's going to tell you the files and the containers and so on where this word is, and it is not going to only look at the inside the content, but it is going to also select possible variations of these changes, of these small changes of this word, and it is also going to detect it in the embedded metadata, in the headers for this email message, but also in the content and so on. Another interesting thing is that even if your content is in a zip file, for instance, the system is still detecting the text on the documents inside the zip file. So it's really convenient. All these search results could be filtered by the area in which you are searching. So you can tell the system, yeah, search only on metadata, or search only in the file content, or only in the embedded metadata, or I'm looking for a file name and path. So I'm searching for the file name that I would like to locate, and yeah, you can enable this. You can also restrict by the archival tree node. So yeah, I would like to search only in the newspapers collection or whatever. So you could select it here, and you could have results. And also you can face it by formats. So yeah, give me only the results that I have in the Acrobat Acrobat 1.2, for instance. And you have here only the PDF 1.2 that contain this word in any of the metadata or the content and so on. You can face it also by the containers you have it, or by the structures, or if they are structured or not, and so on. So it's really advanced way of understanding your collection. So if we go back to the container, to the same we were in, you can see, I said it briefly, that you can add your own metadata to this. So if you right-click properties and click on the metadata, you see here a form in which you can add your own metadata. So here I have a Dublin Core set of fields, but you can use Dublin Core or other metadata schema. You can create your own fields. We will see that in a moment, right? So you can create different metadata categories, different types for the fields. You can import from CSV, an XML, and a JSON file, and so on. And remember that anything you introduce here becomes searchable. So you can search for it, and you will locate those objects. Another interesting thing in Go is that, and it's fully aligned with the best preservation practices, is that you can see and you retain everything that is happening with your data. So for instance, this is me opening the Microsoft Word file. So we are creating premise events for any action that is happening in the system. So when you open a file, but when you change it, If you delete it, also is created when you are, for instance, characterizing it. So everything is retained as an event when you are working with the platform, which is also, as I said, very good. In permissions, you can adjust who is able to read, to update, to delete, to access the content you have, to change the metadata, and so on. So you can define who is able to do what. You have also a nice reporting section in which you can get a lot of information out. So for instance, imagine that I would like to get a formats report. So what are the formats that I have in my container? Here you have your program IDs, your files, your size, and so on. Or you may want to have encrypted content report. Then the system is going to tell you the files that are password protected in your container, or hashes report, in which you have all the hashes for your files. You can export this to XML, to Excel, and CSV, and you can choose the hash you would like to see there. So SA1 or 250 MD5 or 256 and so on. So it is possible to add more reports to this. In the performance tab, you can define where is this container archive, in which storage type is this archive. And this is important because some organizations need to have the content immediately accessible. And yeah, this means that they are going to have it in a storage that keeps the content immediately accessible. But others may wait for a day. For instance, when they need the content back, they can wait for a day if the storage price is lower. And this opens the door to using the cold storage, the cold cloud storage. So what we are doing is getting all this content and freezing it and placing it in a cold cloud storage, which is much cheaper, much more affordable to keep in. So the storage is going to cost way less, at only the cost of freezing and unfreezing it back when you want to use it. So it's the same concept like in the fridge at your home. So when you need to use the food, you need to unfreeze first in order to use it. It's the same concept here, and you are paying way less to keep this content there. You can have also workflows to organize your team work. So here I have that Charlie and Justin are in charge of organizing the collections, while Bob is in charge of checking for personal information, and then Fred and Claire are in charge of adding descriptive metadata, and so on. And you can keep your team organized, keeping this content on one of these stages, and you can filter for them and so on. And in the lifecycle policies, this is here basically to allow you to be, if you are managing GDPR related content, so content that has personal information, the law requires you to protect it in a certain way and then delete it after a predefined number of years and so on. In case you are managing this content, you can enable these policies, and this is going to make you fully aligned from the preservation and archiving perspective, fully aligned to the GDPR, right? So it contains anything that you are going to, everything that you are going to need to be fully compliant. But organizations are usually not only managing their content in their own premises. So usually they need to share the content with others or receive content from others. LIBSAFE GO includes really powerful capabilities on sharing content. For instance, let's say that I would like to share this folder with someone else, someone external that is not in my organization. So you have the sharing here. Well, this is already shared, right? So the system offers you several possibilities for sharing this content. And what the system is going to do is going to create this link you can send to anyone, and it's going to allow them to open this web page. this would look with your organization logo, and the menu would not be here. It's here because I'm logging in the platform, but if not, you would not have this menu here. So it would be just this area. And you can send this to them so they can open the images in the same way you can. They can do anything you can do, but they can't change things. So this is a read-only mode. But let's say they would like to download an image. So it's right-click, download, and boom, they have the image. Or they would like to download these 4 images, right-click, download. And the system is smart enough to download this as a zip file. So you can see that the system is really fast and convenient when sharing this content. And you can do the opposite. So imagine that your organization needs to receive content from a third party frequently. So someone you need for the, I don't know, the teaching, the scholars to, for instance, related to research, to deliver something, or to get content you are digitizing outside your organization for someone, a service bureau that you want for them to deposit it in your archive. To do that, you have the submission areas. In the submission areas, you can create them. So yeah, you can tell what is the metadata you are going to ask for when making a deposit and so on, and it's going to create a link. And when someone is using this link, the system is going to ask them for the metadata fields you have defined. We are supporting multiple languages in the metadata. And when they agree and click submit, the system is going to allow them to drag and drop their content. And this content is going to land in a container in your platform. So directly to the preservation platform. Of course, you are notified that you have a new deposit, and you can decide what do you want to do with it. You can discard, or you can move it to a permanent area, or whatever, right? But this is very handy and convenient way to get content in from an external party. And how this is configured? Well, we have a very strong focus on thinking on the configuration for this, so to make it really simple and easy for anyone to be able to do that. Here in your archival structure, you can configure the nodes you have and the permissions you would like to give them. In the submission areas, you configure them. You can also create tags for your content in which you can then filter. This works exactly the same as your Gmail tags if you are using Gmail. So it's a way to tag several objects. So this needs redaction, or this has been not digitized correctly. So you can tag this object and you can filter them based on it. Here you can edit your workflows. Here you can edit your GDPR related policies. This is, for instance, if the law requires me to keep something for 5 years and then requires me to delete it, I will keep these 3 options enabled. So I will tell the system to retain my objects for 5 years. So it's not going to allow users to overwrite or delete your content. And then after 5 years, the system is going to delete it. But in advance, it's going to send me a note about that if I do nothing, this content is going to be automatically deleted. And to make things much easier, you can also apply a process after a few days. So for instance, if you set here 10 days, the system, when you place content in, is going to allow you to work over your content for 10 days to reorganize it, to add metadata to it, and so on. But then it's going to start applying this 5 years policy, and is not going to allow no one to delete it, then is going to delete it after the 5 years, and so on. So this is really convenient. Here you have your file formats. You can, so here you have the file format you have in the platform, and you can define the preservation actions for them to convert them from one format to another. and so on. In relation to the file formats and so on, we are bringing a really good innovation to the platform. So the traditional way to deal with the format transformation and so on, and obsolescence, has been format transformation. So converting one format to another. You can do that in Go, but in addition, you can also open pretty old formats or formats for the ones you don't have the software to open, right? So for instance, I don't have AutoCAD, and this is a pretty old version of AutoCAD. No problem, I can still double click and I can open my AutoCAD file. Or I may have some medical images. I don't have the medical, the DCOM software to open them. No problem, you can just double click and open them. Or I don't know if I have the codecs to open this old MP4 file. No problem, you just double click and the file is going to open. And the same works for any image format you are going to see, including really old formats like Kodak Photo CD or TGA. So, and of course, modern formats like TIFF files, JPEG 2000, JPEG, and so on. But also, for instance, multi-page TIFFs. So this is a multi-page TIFF that is also supported in the platform. Emails, compress files. So you may have a RAR file or a TAR file, and you don't have the software to open them. No problem. You just need to double click, and you can open them. And the same for a lot of manufacturers for camera, so for RAW formats. So here we have a CRW, Canon format. You can double click and open. You don't need to have the Canon software to open it. And the same for Kodak and so on. So we are supporting more than 40 different formats and manufacturers with this. So this is an alternative to the format migration. So you can keep your content accessible without doing any kind of format transformation. But if you want to do that, you have also the actions here that allow you to do all this format conversion. And here in the metadata section, you can configure the metadata you are going to use. So if I go to the metadata, I see that I have 3 metadata schemas: Dublin Core, Test, and Invoice metadata schema. And if I open Dublin Core, for instance, I see my Dublin Core fields. But what happens if I would like to have Dublin Core plus an extra field to keep my things? No problem. You just need to add the descriptor, and it's really easy to add new fields and so on. And here you have the users and groups administration to basically organize the permissions and so on. We are supporting LDAP. We are part of the so we are supporting SAML authentication. We are part of the UK Federation. So this means that if you are part of a university, or usually many public organizations that are part of the of this federated access, you can log in with your own credentials without, out of the box, without doing nothing else. So it is also very interesting. So if we go back to the NDSA, you will remember that we have our levels. So if we meet all these things, we are in level 2. If we meet all these things, and in addition we meet all these things, we are in level 2, level 3, and level 4 for different areas, right? So if we go to the level 1, to have 2 complete copies in separate locations, we meet this. To document all storage media, you have it. To put the content in stable storage, we are meeting it with the, as I told you about the cloud storage. The level 2 requires to have 3 copies. You have 6, so you are also meeting it. To the to have documentation on how what are the dependencies on using this storage. As you are using cloud storage, this simplifies a lot. This is thinking on using tapes and so on, which we are not using. The level 3 regarding to the storage requires to have at least one copy in a geographic location with a different disaster threat. Yeah, we have this. So every of the two main storage locations we have, each of them has 3 different locations, but both copies are in a completely different places. So we are meeting also this one. We are having also your content in different types of cloud storage. We are keeping one in an S3-like and another one in a deep archive-like that are using different technologies. We are tracking the obsolescence of the storage, and for the level 4, it requires for us to have at least 3 copies in geographic locations, each with a different disaster threat, which we also meet with this platform because of the combination of the different geographic locations for each of them and the use of different technologies. Maximize the storage diversification to avoid single points of failure. We are doing that using multiple providers and multiple technologies for the storage. Have a plan and execute actions to address obsolescence of storage hardware, software, and media. This simplifies a lot when using the cloud, but we're always, of course, looking at this. If we look at the integrity, it happens exactly the same. So we don't have a lot of time. So basically, this is telling us that if we have, I'm going to go a little faster than in the previous one. So if you have integrity information, this integrity information can be verified, which you can by the use of actions to generate it. If you don't have it with your content, you have been able to see it in the interface on how the hashes created. To virus check all your content. We are also doing that when ingesting and so on. To verify the integrity when you are moving it, that the platform is taking care when you, for instance, unfreeze or freeze your content, is verifying it. The possibility to write protected, you have it with permissions. To backup integrity information in a separate location. Yeah, we are keeping 2 independent locations for this. To verify the integrity periodically, you have been able to see how the platform auto-schedule itself the verification for this integrity. To document the integrity verification, you have the logs in which you can see how this happened. To perform an audit, integrity audit on demand, you remember that you have a button below the auditing information is run an audit now, so you can perform on demand auditing verifications. And if we go to the level 4, it's telling us to verify the integrity information in response to specific events or activities, which we are doing. You have the button you can always use when you need to when you have done something, and we do on our migrations. And to replace on repair or repair corrupted content as necessary. We are also doing that when the system is detecting that one of the copies have corrupted or damaged. This is auto-healing it and leaving trace in your preservation record. On the control, you need to keep permissions on who is able to work over your content. You need to document agents that are authorized to read, write, and so on. So yeah, permissions again. You maintain logs and identify the humans and software agents that are performing actions. Remember that in the log I had my user access in this, so we are also meeting this. Performing periodic reviews of the access logs. You are in charge, so this is a manual action on your side to perform a manual review, but the system is supporting you. On the metadata, the system allows you to create an inventory. Of course, all the metadata is also replicated in the storage, so you are meeting this. You are storing also technical information like the metadata, the characterization information, all the technical preservation, structural information. The system allows you to keep everything in place. Determine with what standard metadata standards to apply. You are capable of using Dublin Core, for instance, or creating your own, but you have them fully documented in the system. You can add metadata as needed in the platform. Any metadata action is logged in the standard logs, and implement those chosen metadata standards. Of course, you can you have been able to see me assigning them and so on. And from the content perspective, the last one, you can imagine, it's exactly the same. You can document the formats and other essential content characteristics. So the characterization is giving you the format and so on. The system is verifying the format for essential content and characteristics. You remember the red box that tells you that you have some corrupted files there. You can build, I didn't tell you, but you can create links from one object to another object, so you can document object relations. With this platform, you can monitor the obsolescence and change in technology. Remember that we had it in the file listing. You have the obsolescence format and so on. And the last one is to perform migration, normalization, emulation, or similar activities that ensure the content could be accessed always, right? So, and you have also there. So we have been able to see that how the platform matches all of them. With a very little planning and almost out of the box, the platform allows you to have an NDSA level 4, which is the maximum level the NDSA levels of preservation established in a very to use and affordable platform. So to just a little recap. So LIBSAFE GO is, as you have been able to see, is a really powerful and advanced preservation platform that you can start using today. So no complex implementations, no complex learnings, and so on. So if I leave you in front of LIBSAFE GO, you can start doing a lot of different things. And if you get a few hours of training that we, of course, include in the package, you can do whatever you want in the platform and accomplish the highest levels. Speaking about the training, we offer unlimited training. It's not like in other offers, canned videos and documents and so on. No, here is with one of our trainers, and you get real training by demand. We are so sure that the system is so easy to use that we offer free training in case you need it. So to the 7 benefits. Maximum protection for your content. At the point you upload something to the platform, the system is going to create several copies, it's going to create the fixity, it's going to verify them with advanced digital preservation. All the format characterization, validation is embedded in the platform. It's a really advanced platform, so you can leave us a message for the prices and so on, and we will tell you those prices, and perhaps we can give you an indication. Everything you place in the platform is findable and organized, so the full text indexing and so on. You have been able to see how easy to use this platform is. You can grow to more advanced products like LIBSAFE Advanced or other preservation platforms when you need it to. It's very easy to extract all your content from this platform or to enable LIBSAFE Advanced for more advanced needs. And this product is absolutely vendor lock-in free. So there is no way to lose your content. We have escrow storage in place and so on. So questions, you can use the chat and we will be answering them.
Yes, perfect, Antonio. Thank you very much for your time and the presentation. I can hear my echo somewhere. I don't know. Yeah, so let's go with some questions we collected. So the first question is about how easy is it to set it up. So let's say I have 5 to 10 terabytes of scanned images, TIFFs, JPEGs, whatever, maybe a few Bond digital PDFs. What would you say? How easy is it to set this service up, and how fast can I start to use this application? What time frame should I estimate?
Well, one of the key things in this product, and we have been working a lot to make it really easy to start to use and to start using. So for 5 terabytes organization, you could be running in 1 or 2 weeks. So you just would need, if you are using the cloud version, it's nothing to install. So you get the product, and 1 week later you can access it. And of course, with 3 days of training, 2 or 3 days of training, you are ready to go. So in total, it would be less than 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and you said that there's no technical knowledge necessary. So let's be honest. Is this really like this, Antonio? What is, let's say, the minimum criteria or the minimum knowledge you need to use this this platform, LIBSAFE GO?
It's absolutely true and correct.
Okay.
So you need know the platform is giving you a lot. It's going to depend a lot on what do you want to do. If you want to keep your content protected, then you need to know nothing. So you as you have been able to see me uploading your content, drag and drop in as the folders you have today, drag and drop them to the server, and that's it. So there's nothing else to configure and so on. If you are going to use metadata, you need to know about your schema. If you are not using a standard schema, so you will need to create it in the platform. But you saw how easy it was. You can apply metadata in bulk. You can read from a CSV and so on. But everything is really simple. If you are going to approach to the format migration and all these things, yeah, you need to know way more. We have been working to include this format viewer for you to not need to approach to the format migration. And most of the organizations using this are using pretty stable formats, are using TIFFs and so on that are going to require no migration in the long, at least in 10, 15 years, the TIFF format absolutely is going to be there at least. So it's going to depend a lot on the case you are. If you want to do format migration, you will need to know a bit more, but not because of the platform, but for the decisions you need to make. And you will, of course, always have us on your side to ask those questions and so on.
Yeah, I think this is a very interesting point also to the unlimited training, that even if you have these complex questions you need to answer, you have somebody to ask, you can ask, and you can benefit from the experience from other customers and can
That's
give
correct.
clients different kind of options to choose from. Yeah,
that's correct.
Okay, just one last question. So from my side, so in the other webinar, we talked about the advanced version, let's say the big version of LIBSAFE. So what was your idea of when inventing, or let's say creating LIBSAFE GO as kind of an easy solution, easiest to start, fast to start solution, and what kind of market are you, or well, let's say what kind of clients are you targeting with LIBSAFE GO instead of LIBSAFE Advanced? You're muted, Antonio.
I'm sorry, I would be talking for hours. So it's a very good question. LIBSAFE GO, we created Go because we saw that if you are a really big organization and you can invest on deployment and so on, there are several products you can use and so on. But what happens if you don't need you need to get the best practices and you don't want to get complex integrations with other systems and so on? You just have your content. You would like to keep it protected with the best possible practices in the preservation field. So we look at all these things, and we really saw that for smaller organizations, it was they are usually, or they were struggling about how to do all these things. This process require time, money, and so on. So we started thinking on how to avoid that. What is the best thing we can build without implementation in an affordable way? And the result of this is Go. And everything you see is organized to be easy, to be affordable, and so on. So basically, we are covering this gap. I have 110 terabytes of data. I have 600 terabytes of data and digitized content with TIFFs and all these things, and metadata, easy, Mark 21, Dublin Core, mods, metadata, and what I need is to keep it protected and do all the needed things to achieve an NDSA level 4 of preservation. What is the easiest option I have? And the answer to that is Go.
Okay, I understand. Okay, I think looking at the clock, I would say we should wrap it up here. So yeah, thank you very much for your time, Antonio, for the very detailed presentation of LIBSAFE GO. I think we got a lot of information today, a lot of things we should have an eye on. On the other hand, I know it's just a small, let's say, a small part of LIBSAFE GO and of LIBSAFE in general. So yeah, everybody listening and watching, of course, feel free to contact us afterwards, ask us our questions, and if you want more information, let us know. We're happy to give you a personalized presentation and talk about your needs and and what is important in your project. So yeah, I would say thank you very much, Antonio, Maria. Always happy to have you here. And
likewise, thank you, Jens. I'm sorry to not to have time to answer more of the questions we have, but we will do afterwards. So we will, yeah. So thank you, everyone, for your time and your interest. And yeah, we are here to help you. So thank you.
Thanks and bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.